Hey guys,
I'm Jerry.
I'm Sierra.
We're ladies.
And we tangent.
I've never had these this low before, so I can't fucking see, but I feel like it's gonna
Make us look better.
I don't know. What?
Okay, good.
It's gonna give us the worst migraines of our lives.
And shadows on my beard.
Well, I feel like when they were up higher, it was shadowy.
100%.
Get under there,
Get up
brother.
underneath there. Yeah.
Anyway.
What's up, everyone? Hello.
Oh, God, I forgot again.
Oh, the gum.
I'm just going to add all of my gum under here until there's just like, what is that, a stalactite?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
a stalagmite of
growing.
gum? Yeah. Isn't there one that's from the roof and one that's from the floor?
Yeah, stalag.
I actually don't
It
care
doesn't
anymore.
matter.
I stopped caring as soon as I asked you.
And I wasn't going to pretend to know.
Okay,
I had
cool.
a 50-50 shot of guessing right, and I wasn't confident at all in even that.
Yeah.
Anyways, this burn. Do you want to hear
Yes,
about what I
would love
did?
to hear about your burn.
It's actually not that exciting at all.
Oh, okay.
But
Then
it is a gnarly burn, only because I was stupid and I was cooking the other day, and it doesn't hurt like at all anymore, thank God. It hurt really bad when it happened, but my child likes to help cook, which is fine.
Yeah.
Except she still reaches for stuff. So I'll have her sit next to me, but like away from the stove. And she's normally good. She knows what hot means and stuff.
Yep.
For some reason, she was going for it this time, and she went for the pan. And instead of like moving her, my thought was, let me touch the So I put my arm like this on the pan so she couldn't touch it, and just was like,
yeah,
right on my arm.
Well, I got some burn stuff at my house from that one time where I physically just picked up a pan that was 450 degrees.
Yeah.
So
The good news is, I learned from working in kitchens so long that cool water and mustard
mustard
on
the beat.
for real.
Mustard on the burn.
Mustard on the burn, ho. It works really, really well. And so it actually didn't hurt that bad. Like that night it sucked, but yeah, right now it's really fine.
I love that.
Anyways, guys, we have news. We have news. We have exciting news. And we've been edging you about this for so long.
Guess what?
We're going on tour. We're going back on tour. Yay.
It's going to start like end of August and run through the beginning of November. Don't freak out.
Don't freak out. You're going to freak out, but don't freak out.
Don't freak out. Denver, I'm sorry.
It's for real.
We have a lot of middle ground that we're going to cover this coming fall.
Yes.
But that does not mean that we won't pick up additional legs. I love additional legs.
Oh, I couldn't have enough legs. Call me a spider, bitch.
I'm trying to be a spider. Call me an octopus. That's how many legs I'm trying to have. So,
and it will all be the same show. So don't freak out if you don't see your city. That doesn't mean that you're never going to get a chance to see the show.
And by the same show, we do not mean Camp Tangents.
No.
She's passed.
Camp Tangents is sadly.
Camp Tangents may be making a virtual resurgence here, maybe a summer camp situation. So be on the lookout, Patreon, for that.
Yep.
But
it's not just for Patreon, by the way. But yes.
No. That is where it will be. That's where it will live. Though.
That's where it will live. Yes.
So we've had to figure out how the fuck we were going to do that, but it's not about Camp Tangents, and I'm tired of it trying. I'm tired of Camp Tangents trying to stay relevant. Honestly,
trying to be the main character.
Yeah, it's over for you.
We're done with you. We're done camping. We want to have a cozy sleepover.
Yes, and so we are going on the Girls Gone Mild tour. That's right, everyone.
Yay! Sad Bitch Island meets your 90s sleepover.
Yes.
And we're combining the two into
Mary
a beautiful...
Kate and Ashley got depressed.
Yes!
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're solving crimes, and the crime is what's happening inside of my head.
And also in this country.
That's so true, dude.
So,
damn.
Come hang out with us on tour. Find your city. Is it on sale today? Who knows? Could be on pre-sale today. We're not sure.
We actually don't know yet. We're re-recording this ahead of time, so we're going to hope that it is. If it's not,
tomorrow.
It will be.
You know, all I remember is 7, 8, 9. Those were the days that I was supposed to remember. Today is the 6th, though. However, for those of you who listen not on Tuesday, 7, 8, 9.
You're welcome.
One of those days you can purchase tickets.
Yeah.
So
Oh my God. So excited.
So
you guys.
exciting.
We're going to have a great time.
We are going to have so much fun. So, wear your comfy pants.
Please.
Wear pajamas.
We will be.
100%. Did we specifically create a tour so we could go across the country in pajamas?
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
And I think that you guys will be really excited because it is going to be similar to Camp Tangents in the way that it's going to be hybrid, part live performance from us, part visual representation of events in the past.
Yes.
And we will have some special guests.
We will.
Other characters of the show.
That we won't be.
That will be returning next year.
Yes, exactly.
Our friend Nicole.
And TT12.
Oh, Tater Puff.
Very excited.
We're having a sleepover and you're invited.
Yes, it's going to be amazing.
The tagline, we can't wait to sleep with you.
And that's a fact. That's what I've always said.
I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. Okay, what else? Anything before I dive right in? This is a long one, just so you know.
I was going to say, I had 2 things to tell you. Both of them completely escaped my brain.
Save it for Patreon because we are recording a Patreon episode.
I don't know if it's ever going to come back to me. I'm not sure.
We will be recording a Patreon after this. It'll be more of the mashup stories that we told last week. So if you liked those, come on over to Patreon.
Come on over.
For this episode.
Come on over to Patreon.
There you go. I was waiting. I was like, where's she going to go with it?
I don't know.
I'm bringing out the busty, dusty old laptop. Haven't had this in a minute.
I just pictured it with boobs.
You should. That's all that's on here, to be honest. Don't look at my search history.
And I won't.
It's terrible. This episode is, I've kind of hinted at last, 2 episodes ago? The Calypso one. We talked about the space Blue Origin travel situation.
Yes.
And I told you that there was a woman named Amanda Nguyen. Nguyen is how you pronounce her last name.
Yes.
Thank you for everyone who corrected me, who told me how.
Yep.
I will never mispronounce it ever again.
Yep.
And apologies, I didn't know how to last time, but now I do. Amanda Nguyen. And
you know how I tried to suggest that it was like Nugent? I think I was thinking of Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he does, but somehow it got to the guy who has a dressing, a salad dressing.
A dressing.
And I don't think that's Ted Nugent. I think that's something different.
I don't think that is at all. I'll be honest.
So if you guys know the guy,
what you're talking about.
If you guys know the guy who is like Western adjacent, he has a salad dressing. That's who I was thinking of. And I was like, I don't think they're related.
I don't know enough about salad dressings, I guess. I don't know. The only one I know is like
ranch.
I was gonna say ranch, but no, not buttermilk. Hidden Valley.
Buttermilk ranch is a thing.
That's true. Okay.
Could you imagine people just put buttermilk on their salad? That's disgusting. Just wet milky leaves.
I mean, is it better that they put ranch on there? Yeah, it's delicious, but it is a milk substance, and that freaks me out.
Wow, you're making me sick.
I know. It's fucking gross.
I think I'm gonna pee. And
you should. Okay, guys, here's what I need you to know. In the month of May, May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I don't know if you knew that.
I think I did.
But I thought, what a perfect time to talk about Amanda Nguyen, who is a Vietnamese woman, the first Vietnamese woman to go to space. But, oh my God, did she do so much more than that. So I can't wait for you to hear the story. If I don't seem emotional, it's because I'm just reading it. I need you to know when I put this together, I cried probably 4 times, 5 times.
Today was a bad time to take my medication early. I went like 3 days without taking it, and I got swimsuits in the mail, and I tried them on, and Brady goes, they look good. And to me, I was like, you hate me.
Oh my God, I hate my body.
Oh yeah.
Recently. I don't know what's, are we luteal? We have to be.
Well, I'm 2 days late on my period is what I am.
Oh, well, then me too. Because we're at the same time. Well, that's terrible news for us.
That is terrible news. By 2 days, I mean my app told me I was supposed to start.
Yeah. And we've been funky anyways, I feel, both of us.
When's the moon supposed to...
That's what the full moon, we've been really synced up.
Yeah, so when's that supposed to happen? I don't
know.
I'm following her.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've been really struggling, and I just was crying, and he was like, are you know how Sawyer will laugh and
then
cry
you
at the
cry.
same time, and you're
Yes.
like, this is a little scary. That was me yesterday after I tried on a swimsuit.
That makes sense. Yeah,
Mhm.
been there.
And Brady gave me a compliment, but to me, it wasn't enough of a compliment to like categorize as a or qualify as a compliment.
I put on a swimsuit, not to take this,
Great.
but I put on a swimsuit that was a one piece, and Corey was like, holy shit, that's fucking hot. I was like, well, you've never reacted like that when I wear two pieces. I don't know what it was about this swimsuit.
You want me to cover up more of my body?
Well, I think it's because it's a deep V situation.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's why.
Maybe.
Because it's something that he doesn't normally see on me.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it made me excited to wear it on family vacation.
Well, you see, that's the kind of reaction I was looking for and what I got. And now, okay, to his credit, Hazel had 4 seizures in like 24 hours.
Yeah.
So we had to up her medication. It was like really bad.
Yeah.
And we just had bad storms come through. If you guys,
it's
that was one of the things I was going to tell you.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, we'll pause on
I'm
Amanda.
so sorry, Amanda.
It's okay. We'll get back to her.
We had bad storms come through and we had lost our power for 24 hours. And then like right after that, we got our power back. And that's when Hazel had 4 seizures. But when the power was out, I came over to your house and we did a live.
Yes.
And during that live, we were playing with an app called GhostTube. Okay. And it was actually fucking hysterical because whatever ghost was coming through was like
really funny.
Yeah. Was
Witty
really
as fuck.
adding to the vibe. Okay. Roy was the name.
Yeah.
And Roy mentioned Dorothy.
Mhm.
What I found, I'm telling Susan this story, right? I'm like, hey, you're never going to believe we're on live. This happened. And she goes, Roy, you know that's Brady's grandpa, right? You know, it's Corey and Brady's grandpa. That's Troy's dad's name was Roy.
See, I never knew that. They always called him Rocky.
Yes.
So I never knew.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Because his real name's Roy.
Interesting.
And he was a ladies' man.
Oh, yeah, he was.
And he would go around town and he'd beat people up and he'd get into trouble.
Yeah,
and I was like,
he was a troublemaker. That's for sure.
I was like, so Roy is a real person in your family? And she's like, yeah, and Dorothy is my grandma.
Yeah.
And she used to tell me, she told you this, didn't she?
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
No, you told me it.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you sure did.
No, I didn't.
You literally texted it to me, Jerry. I could look at our text.
I just said that it was family related.
No, you didn't. You told me. I'm looking through our text. I know exactly what it was.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Dude,
I did.
I was like, you told me.
But then, yeah, she said that Dorothy is her grandma, and she goes, and she used to always say that Brady was such a special boy, that there was something special about him. And I was like, yeah, that is, his appendix is going to explode, but he's not going to die. So anyway, mystery solved. They're not actually random ghosts.
Yeah, I guess they're part of our family. Well, yeah, I don't know. Family. I don't know. Very strange. But cool, I guess.
That was one of them. So if you were listening on the live and we were like, Roy's here, turns out the Parsons have a type.
Yep. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, all right, back to it. Sorry.
Yes.
So also what you need to know is I bought her book. You should freaking buy it. It's not that big. You can see, but already I could have sat here the entire episode and just read this book to you all. Genuinely. It's so good. I haven't gotten through all of it yet. But it made me cry. So it's called Saving 5, a memoir of hope. And then I also have multiple articles. A lot of this is going to be direct quotes from her because I listened to multiple interviews from her on podcasts and then also multiple articles that she was interviewed in and had direct quotes. So just know that this story is coming straight from her because wait till I tell you everything that she's done, and then this part's going to make you freaking sick. Are you ready?
Hey, Editing Jerry here. Wanted to pop on because we talk about this at the end, but I think it's important for us to include in the beginning. We are telling Amanda Nguyen's story, and it's an incredibly inspirational story, but it's full of a lot of triggers as well. And so we want to make sure that we give everybody enough information to make an informed decision on whether or not this is an episode that you are in proper state to listen to. We did not necessarily censor the things that will be triggering to people because it's important to us not to minimize the intensity of the terminology because it matters. It's important. And unfortunately, it's something that is all too common for women especially to experience. So just so you have all the information, trigger warnings for sexual assault, rape, domestic violence, physical assault, parental abuse. So we just wanted to give a heads up about those things that will be discussed, just so that you can prioritize your well-being and your mental health this week and decide whether or not this is an episode for you. If not, we totally understand. We love you. We'll see you next week. But if you do decide to stay, this is an incredible and empowering story. And we are very grateful to be able to not only share it, but to get to celebrate this woman moving forward, because she's only 33. Yeah. You don't know why that's incredible yet, but you will. You're about to. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Amanda Nguyen was born on October 10th, 1991. She is younger than we are.
Yes.
And she was born in California. I was like, okay, she's done so much. She's got to be late 30s, maybe early 40s. This was before I had seen her.
No,
she's younger than us.
She's turning 34 this year, babes.
Damn, I got to get on it with all the things I want to do. So she's born in California. Her parents met in the United States after they both arrived here as refugees after the fall of Saigon, which was during the Vietnam War. They left their country on very small boats with no belongings and leaving most of their family members behind.
It is insane to me to think about how people immigrated to this country and the reasons why they did so. And again, sorry to just take us away from here, but to know how immigrants are being treated now.
And refugees. Like these
Yes.
are people who are escaping war.
Right.
Who are coming here so that them and their children don't get murdered.
Right.
And then we're like, fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how anyone calls himself a Christian and does that.
Yeah.
That will never make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, why wouldn't you? It's helping the people who need help the most. Anyways, it's the whole thing. Unfortunately, as she's growing up, her father, I'm sure through trauma and whatnot, he grows into a very angry, violent man.
Yeah.
She says, while some childhood homes are marked by children's heights noted on the wall, hers was marked with head-shaped dents in the plaster.
Oof.
Yeah. So she spent entire days with her mom, leaving the house, going to libraries or bookstores to hang out while her father would, quote, cool down.
Right.
They would wait all day for him and they would spend their time reading and just being together. Whenever they would go back home before re-entering, her mom would always leave her outside so that she could go in, kind of test the waters, make sure it was okay for her to come in. And while she was out there as a little girl, she would look up and count the stars as she waited.
Aww.
She said, quote, the idea of going to space meant an extra layer of promise to myself that I would find a way to escape.
Oh.
I know.
This is definitely going to get me.
I know. So she excels in school. That is her goal. She is like, I need to do well. I need to go to college. I need to get away from here.
Yeah.
Her head was buzzing with these two possible futures, right? Her lifelong ambition was to become an astronaut to study astrophysics. And she had even interned at NASA when she was 18 years old. But she also had another kind of plan, a backup plan that she was really interested in. And that was a career with the CIA. As a spy. I know. Talk about ambition. How to become a spy with the CIA or an astronaut? Fucking reach for the stars.
You
Go
know
for
what's
it.
crazy is like they interview kids when they're like 7 years old.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, I want to be the president. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be in the CIA. They don't say the CIA, but they'll say like secret agent.
Do you remember that?
No.
I said the FBI.
I want to be a female body inspector.
When we were in kindergarten, I literally said, they were like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was like, I want to be in the FBI.
I think I wanted to be a singer.
Yeah.
But you say these grandiose things and not that, I mean, some obviously people achieve those
Can do it.
goals, but like it's not often that you hear of a kid who's like, that's been my lifelong dream.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I mean?
maintaining that level of ambition and succeeding at reaching it. She says, quote, "If I didn't win that internship, if I didn't get that scholarship, I had nothing to fall back on. That wiring pushed me to succeed because success was my safety." So it was like there was no
That
other
makes
option.
sense. Yeah.
She was accepted into Harvard.
Casual.
Yeah, super
Just
casual.
a casual Harvard exception.
Amazing. And she says that there she finally began to feel safe. She actually talks, I think in her book, I can't remember where I read this part, might have been in one of the articles, about how other kids were there with her families getting settled in. And meanwhile, she was there making sure the on-campus police knew she had a protection order against her father.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like, very much, she says it felt similar to like Harry Potter when he goes to Hogwarts, because she wouldn't go back home when everybody else did for Christmas breaks and stuff. She stayed there and celebrated Christmas there with the staff.
Yep.
She was actually given all access, like staff access, and she started to learn, here's a direct quote. "I had the Moritor's map. I could explore on my own terms. I got to know all the staff, the janitors, everyone. I was so happy to have built this life with a community of friends and to be living that dream. That's why what happened there and the institutional betrayal that followed felt all the more hurtful."
Oh, hell.
So this is where the story takes a very sad, very horrific turn. Because one evening while at a frat party with her friends, she is raped. She says it was so planned and so precise what happened to her that she's convinced that this was not the first time this person had done this.
Right.
And so she tells her friend, and at 1:00 in the morning, they go to the on-campus hospital. I'm actually going to read a little bit from that real quick of her moments to get there. So what I don't think a lot of people know is, so she gets to the hospital with her friend, I believe Charlize is the name. It says, in matter-of-fact language, Charlize says, "We're here for a rape kit for my friend." The receptionist nods in understanding. "A what?" I think. I don't know what a rape kit even is. No matter how humiliated I feel, I'm glad Charlize is here. She knows what to do. A nurse comes out and brings me in immediately. This is the handover. I turn around and watch Charlize as Charlize grows smaller and smaller until the doors of the patient unit close. The only person I know here is gone. I'm on my own. The next 6 hours define my life. So I don't know if anybody who hasn't gone through a rape kit knows. They normally take around 6 to 7 hours to go through. So you're normally joined by a nurse who's called a SANE nurse. That's sexual assault nurse examiner. So I'm going to continue reading here for just a moment. "I'm a SANE nurse," she gently explains. This woman walks in. "Sexual assault nurse examiner." She takes out a seemingly endless fleet of bottles and cotton swabs. Another nurse in a ponytail and colorful scrubs wheels a tray over beside my bedside. She dumps out about 30 pills on top of it. "I know it looks like a lot, but I promise it's all to help you. Do you know if you want to press charges?" she asks. "It's not something you have to decide right now. There is a 15-year statute of limitations. 15 years for you to decide, but it will determine whether your name will be attached to this kit." I try to wrap my head around this information. Will I have to go forward with the trial without my consent if I report? Is there a way for me to report without losing agency? That's not for me to determine, but remember, the trial is Massachusetts versus the perpetrator, not you versus the perpetrator. I learn in this moment that it will never be me versus my rapist. If my assault amounts to anything at all, it will be the government versus my rapist, as if he had committed a crime against the Commonwealth. Am I erased so easily? We know the names of these men: Bill Cosby, Jeffrey Epstein, R. Kelly. But how many of the women they hurt can we name? In America's criminal justice system, survivors become background characters to a story that is actually about us, our lives, our bodies, our dignity. The battleground for violence against women's body can't even pass the Bechdel test. That's just how the system works. Victims are erased from their own narratives, and now I will become, at best, a mere witness to my own rape trial. I think about my dreams. NASA and the CIA would absolutely demerit a candidate based on whether or not they have an active court case. Both places make you fill out forms to report it. On the precipice of achieving my dreams while lying in a hospital bed, I am being forced to make a choice: career versus justice. Essentially, she decides to go with a Jane Doe rape kit, right? It's not
Right.
under her name. Because at that point, she feels like,
He's already taken this away from me.
and I don't want to lose my career for it.
I don't want him to now be able to take more of my life away from me.
Exactly. She went for this option, and then there were many tests done: blood count, microbiology tests, chemistry tests, pregnancy tests, and many pills given, about 30, including antibiotics, hepatitis B, and HIV prevention medication. Finally, she was discharged with a bill, $4,863.79.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm. As well as 65 pieces of paper, prescriptions and their side effects, forms to sign, leaflets, a medical letter for university work extensions. But once she finally gets back to her bedroom and is actually able to go through everything, she sees that the most disheartening piece of paper in them all is the one revealing that all rape kits will be destroyed after 6 months. So the statute of limitations
Is 15 years.
so that you can process your trauma and go through it before you have to endure a court case on it. But after 6 months, all of the evidence that they collected, and you just spent $5,000 for them to collect, is thrown out.
Right.
From the moment she learned that her rape kit would be destroyed in 6 months' time, she said she felt like she was living with a countdown.
Oh,
so
yeah.
she's like, well, okay. And mind you, she's not doing well. The first week that she's back home, she's in her bed. She's
Right.
not leaving. She barely leaves campus, like, for the first couple weeks.
Because I think what I need to just pause and say out loud
Go ahead.
is we are discussing the aftermath, just how heinous and gross and disheartening and traumatic just the results of the reality of the rape kit is. That doesn't even bring in the actual rape.
Yeah. And the case that will follow.
Right. Those are, in my mind, those are 3 very separate things
Yeah.
to mentally and emotionally
Deal with?
process that now you're having to do
In 6 months.
simultaneously
Yep. Also, just so you know,
at an expedited speed.
Yeah.
At a speed that you don't get to decide.
Mm-hmm. That's not, and
That's
no
also not how processing works.
no one told her that at the hospital. So had she not thoroughly went through all those papers, because I wouldn't have,
Right.
she would have had no idea. She would have maybe tried to press charges a year from then, 2 years from then, and
not
realized
known.
that all of the evidence is gone.
Right.
Because
Because I'll tell you what, you hand me 65 pieces of paper,
I'm not reading them.
not a single one.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not. Like, it's the fact that nobody doing that kit told her that, or maybe they didn't even know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is upsetting. The cops, whoever
Yes.
she talked to, nobody let her know that. It's disgusting.
The fact that she got a bill,
Yeah.
disgusting.
Oh, we're going to get to that. She didn't know if there was a possibility to save it through an extension. No one had given her any information or anything like that. So what does she start to do? She begins to Google. Love a Googler.
We love a Google.
So while slowly picking up her life and trying to put the pieces back together, she's graduating and all of that. She's also now on a mission to save her rape kit.
Right.
She's cold calling and emailing forensic labs, trying to locate it. She doesn't even know where it's at, where it went after the hospital.
How do we know that it's even
And how do you get the extension for it?
Right.
Who do you talk to? Yeah, how do you know it hasn't already even been destroyed?
Right.
So Cambridge police directed her to Harvard University police, who directed her back to Cambridge police, and this went on for a while.
Yeah.
Finally, days before the 6 months were up, that's how
Oh.
long this took just to locate it.
Uh-huh.
The kit was located and the lab agrees to extend the deadline. However, this guarantee couldn't be emailed or posted to her. Instead, she had to fly from DC, where she was now living, back to Boston so that she could pick up a piece of paper that said request done and accepted. And that's the only way that they would extend it. While she felt a little bit of relief, it dawned on her that in just 6 months' time, she's going to have to do this entire process over again.
Yep.
And that's 6 months potentially for the next 15 years.
Right.
Also, if you're interested in this, and I cannot say this enough, this woman is incredible. Please buy and read her book. If you don't feel like you can afford this or you don't want to read the entire book, she has an amazing article that she wrote in Time Magazine that you can look up. It gives it from her perspective, and she's just amazing with words also. But there's also one of the podcasts I listen to has her speaking directly. And the way that she speaks is just so, like, it's called Women of Impact. From assault to astronaut, here's how she took back her power and landed in space. Anyways, she's just very, I don't know. It seems like she can articulate so well what she was going through while also still being clear enough to really explain almost from like that it didn't happen to her from an outsider's point of view. It's wild.
It's probably very clinical. And what's frustrating is in order to be heard as a woman at times, you have to take the emotion out of it.
I'm going to get to that. Yep. So she says that. Yeah. Yes.
Me and Amanda, man, we're like this.
You're exactly right, though. So this is a direct quote from her again. The statute of limitations is 15 years because it recognizes that trauma takes time to process. It allows a victim to revisit that justice. It gives grace to the experience of trauma. But destroying the rape kit after 6 months prevents a survivor from being able to access vital information. I learned that those kits aren't even being processed. Why would I go through this invasive procedure for it to be destroyed before it's even tested? So they don't test it unless you like have a court case.
Right.
Why the fuck wouldn't they just automatically test it? Because what if that person is in the system already?
Right.
Boom, you get a match. Why wouldn't you just do that?
Right. In my mind, I'm trying to figure out from the other perspective, like what the logic would be. And my
money, funding.
Exactly.
That but now people are taking away from certain things that are important.
I was going to say, but at the same time, we're not afraid to put money and funding towards shit that doesn't matter.
Right.
But this will say, no, that's where my line is. My line is testing rape kits to prevent other people.
Serial rapists?
Yes.
Yeah. Or to get justice.
To hold people accountable.
Jesus. This is still from her quote. She says, in murder cases, cold cases are solved years later because evidence is not destroyed. So why is this particular crime that predominantly impacts women the one where evidence is chucked out?
Mm-hmm.
In the days
Can you imagine just throwing evidence away?
Why?
For what?
And then what's the point of collecting it?
Yes.
Why? So that you can say you did it?
Yeah.
So that we can, it's like a pretend thing. We're doing our job, kind of.
Is this
enough for you?
Is this how you make money? Because you're charging me for that?
Right.
You're charging me for something that you have no intention on doing anything with?
So upsetting. In the days that follow, Nguyen was also informed by her rape crisis volunteer that a prosecution would take, on average, 2 to 3 years to do, and that there was a, ready for this? 1% conviction rate.
Mm-hmm.
She realizes she might have to potentially put her future life and ambitions on hold that she's worked so hard for potentially something with a 99% chance of failure.
Mm-hmm.
The system was stacked against me, she says. It felt rigged, and that felt like a greater betrayal to me than being raped. The person she had been just days before had vanished. Another direct quote. It was an elemental chemical transformation. The life had gone out of me. I felt like a skeleton of that vivacious, happy young student. I was like a dried up leaf and would never get back to being green and young. But I could transform into something else. It could become an ignition.
Oof.
I told you this is where it got.
Yeah.
Her words are powerful.
100%.
She's 33. That's crazy.
It's amazing is what it is.
It's so amazing. And she was even younger here. Like, this is
because I think about
wild.
I think about other powerful voices like Maya Angelou, for instance.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't really know Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I didn't really know about the powerful things that these women were saying and doing until almost like the end.
Yeah.
And now with the internet being what it is and with information being as easily shared as it is, we get to have this woman for so long.
Yes.
We get to hear her words and learn from her and have her activism better the world
and
for
in 2
so
years,
long.
She can run for president.
Hell yeah.
And I will vote for her. No, but that's exactly right. You're exactly right. It's amazing to see it in real time, almost literally identically on the same timeline as us, and to see what she's able to do and to know that this is just the beginning is wild. So seemingly overnight, unbeknownst to her, and really not that she was trying to, she becomes an activist.
Yep.
She never expected that she would have a role like this. However, she started out by sending a group email, CCing everyone she knows, essentially, in this email. And she's setting out what she wants to change and why she believes she needs to change it. Remember, she is going to Harvard. So there's a little bit of some help here, Harvard Law and all of the things.
Yes.
She's got people on her side that know how these types of things can
Yeah.
work and what maybe they can do. And so the response is overwhelming. Friends offered to build her a website to calculate the economic impact. A Harvard Law team helps her draft the bill. However, it was the messages from other survivors that really stood out to her. Women from all across the country sent her their own stories. One woman's daughter sends in that her daughter had been raped and murdered by somebody who had previously raped 2 other women. Their rape kits had been destroyed and never processed. Maybe if they had, he would have been held accountable and her daughter could have been saved. Another had been pursued by creditors demanding payment for her rape kit expenses. She said, quote, this is Amanda, "Every one of the rights included in this bill was written for a woman on my team who had experienced the absolute tragedy of not having them." So she builds up this team of survivors into this very powerful grassroots movement type of situation, and it's called RISE. RISE is a nonprofit organization aimed to protect the civil rights of sexual assault and rape survivors. By the way, she never uses the word victims. She says that is on purpose. Even in all of these bills, the terminology is survivor. We're not victims, we're survivors.
Yep.
Everyone who works with RISE is a volunteer, and the organization raised money through GoFundMe to fund this. She explained that the organization was named RISE to, quote, "remind us that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can rise and change the world."
Which is something that I think we need to remember.
In these times especially. Her aim for RISE was to pass a sexual assault survivor bill of rights in all 50 United States, as well as on a national level. Quote, "I realized as I went on that movements absolutely need rage." So this is the part that I was talking to you about. This is from the podcast I was listening to. "They need outrage, but hope sustains movements. For me, yes, you can be outraged, but also in order to keep beating the drum, marching on, you need to have something positive to look forward to. And that's how we designed RISE and the campaign and all of our laws, to be this effort of positivity. If we want sustainable change, if we want systematic change and systematic, sustainable involvement from people, we can't just get people to be mad all the time. Being outraged is a part of it, but on top of that, we need to give people something to do and give them a return on investment of their time to see change and to be a part of that change." Mm-hmm. She said this work was all consuming because it involves, quote, "trying to see the humanity in someone who doesn't see the humanity in you." For instance, the first time she goes to pass this bill, Republicans denied it because of one certain thing in the bill. And that was that she wanted all rape kits to include, for free, emergency contraceptive, the Plan B, afterwards, which it should.
Yes.
And they denied it based on that.
Because it's, quote unquote, the abortion pill.
Yep. Which is not. Plan B is not an abortion pill.
Correct.
It's emergency contraceptive, and it's for rape survivors.
Yes.
So she said, fine. You know what? You want to play chess? Let's play chess. I'll take that one thing out. Now pass this bill.
Yep.
And then eventually in my next bills, I'm going to slide that right back in there, which is what she does. So together they get to work and they write the Sexual Assault Survivors Bill of Rights, which included the right not to have your rape kit destroyed until the statute of limitations in your state expires.
Hell yeah.
And the right not to have to pay for it to be carried out. Because what other crime do you pay for evidence collection?
None.
If you are assaulted on the streets, like in a violent assault, and you go and you get checked out and everything, and they take evidence from the assault on you, you're not paying for that.
Right.
For that evidence to be collected, at least. So, in 2016, after it now passes, which took 7 months, a lot of these bills take years and years and years. She gets this one passed in 7 months. And in 2016, President Obama signs it into federal law.
I miss him.
I know. I know. God, I know. So this is 3 years after her rape takes place. Since then, Rise has worked to guarantee the same protections in every single state. And they have passed successfully 91 laws over the last decade. And now they're also pursuing an international treaty that gives universal jurisdiction for rape cases, because this exists for drug crime, murder, and torture, but not sexual violence.
Right.
Pushing through the Sexual Assault Survivors' Rights Act took up all of her time. So she puts her dreams on complete hold.
Right.
Everything that she was going to do. She withdraws her CIA applications, and she halts her dreams of being in astrophysics because she says, quote, "It was all consuming. I ate, slept, and dreamed it and could not go anywhere without talking about it. I'm not saying that's healthy, but it certainly was a major factor for the momentum."
I will say, what I'm hearing is that do you remember when we talked about this, where we said that your calling isn't necessarily a job?
Yes.
I think her calling was safety.
Yes.
And her desire to want to go to space, her desire to be in the CIA was always safety.
For herself,
for herself,
others.
for others. And so now that she experienced this gross injustice and this just eternal feeling of unsafe, not only in her own body, but knowing that the people who are supposed to take care of her and protect her weren't.
Yeah.
Now she's like, guess where I didn't realize I was unsafe?
Yeah. Now my perspective and my focus has been shifted.
Yes. But I think the purpose was still all focused on safety.
100%.
And making sure she could extend that to as many people as possible.
You're exactly right. While 99% of bills don't make it through Congress, this one passes unanimously. Although the senior counsel from the Senate Judiciary suggested that she call it Amanda's Law, she wanted it to represent all survivors. When it was voted through, it felt almost like an out-of-body experience, she said. It felt like a curse was breaking. So eventually she gets it passed in most states. She's still working on it. She got 27 of her own bills that she specifically wrote passed in this amount of time. She said her goal was passing one bill a month.
Well, she was writing like she was running.
No shit.
Hamilton who?
And then she goes to the United Nations and tries to pass this, and it passes. And you should see the photo. I'm going to actually Google it for you. We can put it on our social media as well. But I need you to see.
I'll try and put it in the video here too.
Yes. Basically, she is screaming and in tears, but like it's just emotion, a lot of emotion. Here we are in 2017, and she is featured in the Forbes 30 Under 30. And she's also featured in The Tempest, 40 Women to Watch. And she's also, mind you, a lover of fashion, as well as one of my favorite things that she says is that she's like, I want women to not put themselves in a box. You don't have to be only one thing. You can be all of these things. Like I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to do things for the CIA. I'm an activist. I also love fashion. Like all of these things can be who I am.
They can all coexist.
Yes.
One does not erase another. One doesn't lessen another.
Yes. And so as a lover of fashion, she created publicized events such as a fashion show during New York Fashion Week in the Museum of Modern Art, where models were all survivors of sexual assault.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
And you know what's sad? I bet it wasn't hard to find.
It really probably wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
In 2019, Nguyen was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. And in 2022, she was Time Magazine's Woman of the Year. Incredible. And again, in 2025, Amanda Nguyen makes history as the first Vietnamese woman to go to space. In the years that followed her assault, she begins to get her life back together, the life that has been derailed. She continued her activism, but she did it on the side as she was actively training to be an astronaut now. She said, quote, I'm so excited to be part of this incredible historic flight because one of her experiments that she wanted to do in space will be around bleeding and menstruation while in space, fluid absorption during different moments of gravity. She says, quote, historically, NASA barred women from becoming astronauts, and one of the reasons they cited was menstruation. She said, that's why I'm doing this.
My God.
Doesn't it make you more upset now that the world was kind of revolved around the Katy Perry issue with that when like this was what should have been highlighted?
Yes.
That's why I wanted to do this, because I'm like,
and in
this
a way
should have been the focus of that.
I was gonna
those
say,
interviews and everything.
And in a way, yeah, because if you would have asked me, and I hadn't learned some of this from you, and I'm just learning about the spaceflight from what I consume on social media. I know that Gayle King went.
Yep.
I know that I think someone who is
Jeff Bezos' fiance.
I wouldn't have even known about her. Someone who I think is a host. Was one of them a host?
I have no
or
idea.
no. I thought she was like I thought there was like a Today host on there.
I'm not sure.
Katy Perry. Those were
Yep.
the only ones I knew.
Yep.
Who went up there, and the consensus was they're all asshats for doing it.
Right.
And it's tasteless, and it's this, and it's that. And I'm not saying that things can't be nuanced, and there can't be, people can't have criticisms.
Right.
But you're right. There were women who were going up there who had important. And you know what? I can't even say that whatever Katy Perry and Gayle King and whoever else that wasn't important, because like it's a them thing, and so it's the duality of it where like yes, there are people who are dying,
there are.
can't afford groceries, and this seems like tone deaf a little bit. But hearing that there's reasoning, what Amanda
experiments, and things
wanted
like
to
that.
focus on is like, well, that's important.
Yes, I wish it wouldn't have gotten so overshadowed.
Yeah.
Whether or not she will access her rape kit in the future, because she never has, and she's never pressed charges, but she says that's a decision for the later her. The point is, she's kept the door open.
Yep.
I've given myself time, she says. We've rewritten the law to give my future self that choice.
Yep.
I'm just so grateful that I screamed and the world listened.
Oh.
When asked about her being the first Vietnamese woman to go to space, she said, quote, I'm so grateful to be able to step into this role. My parents are boat refugees from Vietnam. We came on boats and now we're on spaceships. To me, I know, I knew this would get you. This is the part that got me. To me, that represents the resiliency of our community, but I hope it also inspires other people to know that they belong in these spaces. I'm the first, but I won't be the last. I want young Vietnamese, Southeast Asian, Asian American women to see this and understand that they deserve to dream big. Even if those dreams are literally out of this world, we can achieve it.
Ugh, I love her.
And that's what I have for you today for Amanda Nguyen. What an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. I can't keep telling you enough. Please read her book. I wanted to highlight, and then I realized I was highlighting every single thing that she said.
Yeah.
Every single thing
That was
she
me
said.
reading this one Brene Brown book. I was like, well, this is stupid. It's almost like it's just a good book. It's almost like this person has valuable information and a way with words.
Yeah. Yeah. She is incredible. She is so resilient.
Yeah.
You know, I love me a resilient bitch. I love resilience.
I think what I love the most, because when she's talking about Rise and she's talking about how outrage is a part of it, but like in order to sustain a movement, because outrage doesn't move.
Yes.
Outrage lives in you.
Exactly.
It's very stationary. But in order for stuff to get done, you have to move. There needs to be something that propels the movement.
Yes. And a lot of times, like you said, people won't take somebody seriously if they're all emotion.
Yes.
No clarity behind
Yes.
it, which is what rage can do sometimes.
Yes. And
not all the time, but
I appreciate about her story and what she did is we can talk up here ad nauseum about how much we hate men.
Yeah.
And how the world has made it okay for men to do these things.
Not all men, guys. Please don't write that in. We get it. But anyways, yes.
If I
just knew someone would say.
No, 100%. And her focus was not on the man who did it.
Yeah.
Her focus wasn't on the college where it happened at. It wasn't on and at the frat.
Like she said in her thing, this is about her and other survivors. He's at the very smallest corner of it. You sit over there, you little bitch baby.
Yeah.
This isn't about you.
Right.
This is about something so much bigger than you.
Right. So like taking that and making the level of change that she did, not only nationally but internationally.
Yeah.
It's that level of power, like she said, like saying, I'm shriveled now, but it could be, fuel, it could ignite an ignition. It is. And I think that the hope is that everyone can get to a place of empowerment and healing with their trauma where they are able to do something like that.
Yes.
The reality is that it's not
Yeah.
possible for everybody, but I'm grateful that there's people in the world who are putting things in motion to make sure that it doesn't have to be everyone. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. And you can, in a way, if you want to, because if you go to risenow.us, they're still looking for volunteers. And they said that they will, if you have an idea that you want into law and you present it and they think it's doable, they'll work with you and fund it to try to make it happen.
That's amazing.
So if you are somebody who has been directly affected by violence, sexual or otherwise, especially, you're a marginalized group like a woman or especially a woman of color, please, 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 please look into that. Talk to them. Volunteer if you can. Donate if you can. I think that they're an amazing organization and they're trying to make big changes in the world. And it's just incredible. It's unreal, actually.
You hear, but I mean, I don't know a lot about how laws get passed. Like, I know that there's that one cartoon and there's a piece of paper who's sitting on a hill.
I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill.
But to know that there is a group out there who's made it accessible in order to help people not only understand what their rights are, but help them give themselves more rights is amazing.
What she really likes to reiterate in a lot of the interviews I listen to is we have civil rights. We have civil rights. Your civil rights need to be protected. That is literally the government's job. That is why they are elected officials. They work for us.
Right.
They built this country to take care of us and to protect our civil rights.
Right.
That is the whole point of the government. If they're not doing that, call them on it.
Yeah.
Because they need to be doing that.
Because I think that a lot of times people in power get too comfortable playing house.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, that's what the whole, we'll keep your rape kit for 6 months. We're not actually going to process it and then we throw it out.
It's
that
whenever
to me
I tell my kids they have a decision, but really the decision is between the two things that I need them to do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm making you think you have a choice or that you have a say in this. You don't, though.
You don't. And
it's all for show.
Also, it's not actually, we don't actually intend to do anything with this. So,
yeah.
It's like me when I made the little chart of my kids and their heads were, and I would move them up and down
for Santa.
For Santa.
Yeah.
That's to me what it's like. It's like, I'm going to give you all the presents I bought you. I'm not actually going to take presents away. But this is the opposite.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to make you jump through all these hoops. I'm actually not going to do what I should do with this, though.
Yeah. So, oh, man. It's hard not to feel. The other thing that she keeps saying is to try to not get completely overwhelmed, which is really, really hard. Celebrate the small victories. Don't get so overwhelmed by all the little things because it's kind of like we're just ice picking away.
Yeah.
We're chipping away.
Don't sweat the petty things.
Don't pet the
sweaty things. That's what she always says.
Direct quote. No, but Amanda, if you're listening, I love you. I think that you're amazing. If you ever want to reach out, I would talk to you for 200 hours. I think you're the coolest
minimum.
person. With your consent, of course. Yeah, I don't even have to say anything. I'll just listen to you. I think you're so sweet. In every interview, she's so down to earth and cool and sweet. She feels like someone that we could hang out with.
Well,
then she's just like boss bitch doing all these powerful things. It blows my mind.
You know what it reminds me of?
Exist because it's like you're so powerful, but you would never know
that she had gone through what she'd gone through. And I think that this is in no way me comparing myself, but this made me think of something that I said the other day. Somebody was like, "Hey, can you help me out with this?" And I said, "Sure, not a problem." And they were like, "I hate asking you for these types of things because I feel like you're going to have some kind of negative feeling about it because of your past. And what I explained to them is just because somebody did me wrong
Yes.
doesn't mean they get to take away how I show up in the world.
Yes.
What feels true to me, what feels authentic to me, what feels powerful for me.
Yeah.
They don't get to take that.
Yeah.
And so she was somebody who was always looking for, again, safety.
Yeah.
She was always setting unbelievable goals. She was always trying to achieve them. She was always driven.
Yeah.
And she did not allow what happened to her to take that away.
Yeah.
She's like, I still get to do that.
I hold the power. You don't get to take my power from me because you did this horrible thing to me.
I may now redirect where I'm shooting that power.
Yes, which is amazing.
But you don't get to take that from me.
Yeah, and that's honestly such a strong thing that you can do as a survivor is not to let them have that moment change your entire life for the worse.
Yes.
Because to them it didn't.
How you show up for other people, how you show up for yourself.
Yeah,
They don't get to take that from you.
that's exactly right. You're exactly right.
I feel like I need I wanted to say kittens, but kittens would really be bad for me. It just feels like I want to cuddle something small. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like I need right now.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's really heavy, but it's such a hopeful thing that I thought I was like, even though, when I thought about when I was writing it out, switching certain words and
Yes.
maybe not having it hit as heavy,
Yes.
not telling certain parts,
Right.
not reading certain parts. But that to me is, sometimes you need exposure therapy in that.
Yes.
I know things can be triggering, but sometimes you need that trigger to make momentum happen
Yes.
for you.
Well,
It's like whenever I was terrified of flying, the way that I got over that was to just continuously fly. I hated it at first,
mhm.
but now I feel like airplanes don't have that power over
But I was going
me
to say,
anymore.
who's not desensitized to that though?
Right.
Because it's not us.
Right.
It's not for every woman that I know has experienced sexual assault.
Yeah.
Every
it's
single one.
Very unfortunate, but it's so true.
So to me, you can use those words, and yes, it may trigger something. It may have a memory pop up. But as far as I'm uncomfortable thinking about that happening to someone,
Yeah.
we don't have that luxury.
Exactly. Exactly.
If we have daughters, we don't have that luxury of sugarcoating it from them.
Yeah, no, exactly right.
So, and it's wild because the thing that I think a lot of men or even parents of boys are afraid of is the accusation of it
Exactly.
and not them actually doing it,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is insane. It
Yeah.
boggles my mind because in that case, you are automatically teaching the boy
Yeah.
to be defensive.
Yeah.
And that he's automatically innocent in a way.
Oh, I mean, it literally reminds me of Brock Turner.
Yes.
Where they're like,
Yes.
let's not ruin his life over. His dad said, what was it? 20 minutes of fun? Of fun.
Mm-hmm. For who?
Fun for who? Let's not ruin his life over 20 minutes of fun. Mind you, his survivor of her
Mhm.
attack also wrote a book. I don't know if you know that.
Mm-hmm.
But her name is Chanel Miller. And she wrote a memoir, Know My Name, is what it's called.
Yep.
Where she recounts her experiences of being sexually assaulted by Brock Turner in 2015. Prior to the book's release in 2019, she was only known publicly as Emily Doe. The memoir details her journey through the legal system and the aftermath of her assault.
And I can respect that there are certain people who don't want people to know.
Sure.
Don't want their names
yeah.
to be mentioned. They want it to be a very private thing. But I think it's also very powerful for her to write something called Know My Name.
Yeah.
Because I would say the majority of people know Brock Turner.
Exactly.
And why is he
the focal point of
infamous of this? And it's, again, I think because the shame falls to the woman.
Yes.
Even though he's known for something terrible.
Disgusting, horrific,
Mhm.
terrible. But yeah, she is the one that is quote unquote shameful because Amanda even says multiple times, she goes, I have to get up. And what they'll do in Rise is they'll have these, I can't remember what she calls it, but essentially it's like a play, right?
Yep.
Where we're acting it out.
Yep.
And the person who is quote unquote the senator asking her to like talk your bill up,
role play it.
will be just berating her.
Yep.
And she has to go through it because she goes, those things happen in real time. They insinuate it was my fault. They ask why it happened, what I was doing to make it happen. They say horrible things about me. They say horrible things about other survivors. And I have to be able to receive that and not have an emotional reaction and have a calm, clear, concise answer.
Direct.
When it happens. When I, because I'm fighting my case here.
Yes.
And this is important.
Yes.
Guys, go listen to all of the things. We'll link it in the show notes. Please go read this book if you can. She needs to be known and talked about. She's an amazing person, and these stories are incredible. And honestly, I feel like sexual assault, rape is about control. It's about power. They don't do it because they have, I think a lot of misconception is they have these urges, the testosterone, they can't help it. It's about control. It's about power. And if we can rise up, like she says, and take some of that power back and let them know that we won't stand for this. Yep. I think it could be really amazing. So,
what is somewhat sad? It just reminded me whenever you said that. I don't know if I've gone into detail about this before, but you obviously know about this. When we were on vacation and we had met this group of guys and I stayed with one of our friends because she hit it off with this guy and wanted to stay.
Yep.
And I had a boyfriend at the time. There was a guy in the group who had a girlfriend at the time. And I was like, I'll just hang out with him. He's the safe one. Everyone keeps saying that. And I woke up and he was assaulting me.
Right.
And I didn't necessarily realize it at the time. And I kind of like really minimized it until the next day when we realized that I had literal marks on my body from where he had like scratched me in my sleep even. And I took his shorts because in my mind, and I kept them until maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And this happened in 2012?
Yeah, no, earlier because I wasn't pregnant then. It would have been 2010 or 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was before I had Noah.
Yep. So I kept them for 10 years because in my mind,
2010. Yeah.
I was like, I'm showing him.
Yeah.
He's going to be upset. He liked these shorts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You try to find a way to like even out that power imbalance, like an eye for an eye, but it's like, it's never equal. And now it's like, well, I'm going to make damn sure that if it can't be even, that I'm going to make it just.
Yes.
Oh, so
damn. Hell yeah.
Anyway.
Guys, I hope you like this episode. I hope you learned something. I hope that it inspires you to look into more things and to become active. We are living in a world that I don't really recognize anymore in a lot of scary ways. So these little wins, like I said, can make you feel... Little win. These wins make you feel so... Yeah. Like it's not...
This win makes me feel real good.
This win makes me feel amazing. Like it's not so all-encompassing and like it's not... it's not something that's going to defeat us.
Right.
We have a choice in this. We have a role in this. We have power in this.
This
we
is
have
a
voice.
Sustainable win.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's use our voices and be loud and let's make a change and make a difference because it's important and that's what we deserve.
Period.
Anyway, sorry, I was being too.
I know. I started hearing violins in my ear. I was like, "What's happening?"
I had to get silly.
I feel like I'm at some kind of an inauguration.
Vote me for president 2 years too.
Oh my God, you could be her VP.
I swear to God, I'll be her campaign manager. I don't even need any of the power, girl. But I will literally campaign so hard for you.
I'll be your social media person.
Yes.
Oh my God. Wait, can I be the person who takes over the mean blonde lady's job?
Do you know she's 27?
Okay. I didn't.
She is so... Every time I see her, she looks like annoyed as fuck that she has to be doing what she's doing.
Remind me, I have to show you. Kendall I forget her last name, but she's on Happy Wife, Happy Life. They have that podcast. Her and her wife Jordan. Oh hell,
no
I'll
idea
show
who
you.
these people are.
You'll know
Okay.
exactly. She's the person who it's the gay
Yes,
couple. with
I've
straight
seen
son.
it. I've seen it.
She's like, I hate you and you're ugly. Next question.
I don't answer questions from ugly people. Next question. No, actually, and shut up and I hate you.
People are commenting like it's actually not that
Far off at all.
This is not a parody at all. Oh god.
So
Anyway,
good.
I hope you guys know what we're talking about, because if not, that probably felt like
Confusing, but I'll repost it. Go to my TikTok. You'll see it.
Anyway,
All right.
thanks for hanging out, everybody. Be on the lookout for All Stuff Tour.
Yes, please.
And we love you so much. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week.
All right.
We're out.
Goodbye. A little sing-song at the end.